Hi, everybody. Welcome back to our new series, which we're talking about what does it mean to be more than an athlete. I am Dr. Latasia Jones, mostly into STEM, but for some reason came up with this amazing idea to talk about what does it mean to be more than an athlete, especially for our community. And somebody that was brave enough to collaborate with me joins me in this effort, Mr. Joseph Ward, which you probably already know as just epic in so many ways as an author, as a collaborator himself, creating programs, creating initiatives, and his own podcast series as well. Joseph Ward, would you like to take over?
Hey. Look, I just want to let y'all know, I'm going to keep saying this. I'm riding with the flyest scientist ever in the history of science. So y'all better get ready. Stop being jealous because, yes, I get to ride with. So,
I tell
but
you, he's brave. I don't know if it's bravery or something's a little loose, but
hey, it's a little of both. It's a little of both. Hey, and
I
with this,
appreciate it though.
look, with this interview today, you're going to see where I learned some of it from. All right. So you got to be
Mm.
brave. So,
Well, I'm excited to see what's going on because as we were talking about in the previous session, we're just trying to focus on what does it mean to be more than an athlete. And that comes
mhm.
in so many different ways. And last time we talked about an ex basketball player who became a coach, an author, and so on. So I'm excited to see who this is today as
Yeah.
far as, what you can do besides being an athlete and outside of being an athlete after being in that world for so long.
Right. Yeah. And give a shout out to Miss Keezy Kanye. She came and dropped a lot of good information
Yes,
for people in the world of athletics, and especially people who are having a hard time wrapping their identity around themselves as being more than an athlete. Because a lot of times people are confined in the world of sports and they can see themselves just as an athlete. But this with this series, we're working to make sure that we take former athletes and let them tell their stories on how they were able to find themselves as being more than an athlete. So you're not just getting it from us, you're getting it straight from the source. All right.
absolutely.
All right. So today's interview is going to be a good one. So get your pen and your pad and get ready. It's going to be unconventional, but you're about to learn something. So I first met this gentleman. It's when I tell the real story, it's a great story. But I first met him in the ninth grade, playing football at Rickards High School. Um, he was one of the coaches on the squad. He
Mm,
subsequently left because he had to go pursue things to further his life to help him become more than an athlete. So he got his master's degree from Troy University, and that story is a great story. He's coached. He's played college football. He's coached college football. He's coached high school football. He has a community organization. He feeds. Last time I talked to him, he was saying his organization and his collaborations are feeding over 1,600 people a week. He's a
wow.
he's a professor. He uses his ties in athletics to help young men and young women get to college and learn how to further themselves and learn how to use their brains more than their bodies. And just the dedication to his community is one of the things that keeps me around and keep me inspired as well. So I want to welcome my big homie, Mr. Sam Carter. How you doing, big dog?
Man, I ain't know who the hell.
Welcome, welcome.
I ain't know who the hell you were just talking about.
We talk about you.
You were talking about me.
Yes, sir.
Man, I ain't know I did all that.
See, he humble too. He know he be doing that.
Man, hey, dude, I wake up every day and I just try to help people.
I
However
know.
many that is, that I don't, I keep count because they make me count on
Right.
sign sheets but
Right.
I really don't know how many folks we help every day. I just wake up every day trying to be a blessing to others, and that's about it.
That's a good mindset. It's an amazing
Right.
mindset.
Right. So I know y'all intrigued and y'all want to know more. So let's go ahead and get into this interview so we can learn more about him. And he got some great stories that are going to get into about his life. So I know who you are and I know your stock and where you come from. But can you tell the people who you are? Who is Sam Carter? And why is it important for Sam Carter to be able to see himself as more than just an athlete?
Man, I'm just a little boy from Southside Tallahassee. I went to Barn, Nims, and Rickards. Um, I'm a kid that people would generally have forgotten about. I'm one of the lost boys. I'm a guy who was generally told wasn't gonna be something or wasn't gonna be somebody because of where I come from. who my family is and the bloodline that I come out of, not a very positive bloodline. You know, I chose athletics because I realized at a young age that was about one of the only things I could actually do right, because I got in trouble so much in school. I was getting whoopings at home. I was getting in trouble in the community. But when I played ball, folks cheered and told me I was great. And so I latched on to that. Even though I kept doing all that other stuff, I still went to practice and I still went to school. And a lot of my homeboys, they didn't do that. They just continued to travel down the path of making money, going back into the streets and staying home and not really giving a care about education. But I knew in order for me to play ball, I had to go to school and at least act like I had some sense. But for the simple fact, I was in special ed from first grade until 11th grade. I learned how to read in college. So, you know, but it wasn't that I was dumb or stupid. I was bad. I mean, I went to jail 3 times before I was 16. So, you know, just getting in trouble and being a part of a world of just unsavory characters was my backdrop as a kid. So no one ever gave me a shot at being positive or doing anything that I'm doing today. And it flat out amazed people that I am who I am at this point in my life because of how I started out. And you know, I tell teachers all the time, don't give up on kids. Don't give up on kids, because you never know who a kid gonna turn out to be. And I'm glad that some people in the community never gave up on me, and they continue to support me. They continue to tell my mama, you know, that I could be somebody. And you know, my mama didn't listen to people tell her that I wasn't nobody. And you know, she continued to make us do things. And because she didn't have a lot of money and didn't have resources, single mom, 3 kids, she used athletics as a way to babysit. Like, in order for my football coaches to have me on the team, they knew that my 2 little brothers had to be the water boy or to help the towels. They had to do something because she didn't have no babysitting money. And I was the babysitter. So if I'm at practice, when they get out of school, who's going to watch them? So coaches knew that they had to bring me and them. So I just continued to do, you know, what I could to be the best big brother that I possibly could by going off to school and playing ball and showing my brothers that it was a way out and that they could do better. And because of what athletics did for me and gotten me out of the situation that I was, I knew when I came home, I was going to help kids experience what I did. Man, I got cousins who ain't never left Holton Street. Like, they shop at Don grocery store. Like, they shirts, they t-shirts, they eat there. I mean, that's what they don't know anything about the world other than Bond community.
Right.
I wanted kids to see that it's a bigger place out there and you can do and be somebody if you want to, and this is how to do it. So I got the blueprint and went back home with the intentions of helping my 2 little brothers. And because I helped my 2 little brothers, their friends' parents were like, hey, my kid want to go to school too. Take my kid to football camp with y'all. And before you know it, I started a program without trying to start a program, you know? And I've just continued to build off of that model of just helping a kid. And through doing that, we started providing wraparound services, because when these kids come to us that we help try to play ball, they come with other baggage. And then I started realizing, man, ain't nothing wrong with the kid. It's where he came from. It's his mama and dad and auntie and cousin them that he with. That they the problem. But what's wrong with them? They live in the same way that they were taught and what they know. So, you know, I'm trying to figure out who putting Mr. Potato Head together. And if Mr. Potato Head keep coming to your class with his nose where his eyes supposed to be, you can't fuss at Mr. Potato Head. You got to find out who put him together. And then when you go home, you see the mom and the daddy, they knows where their eyes supposed to be. So you fix them. Well, while you fixing them, grandma walked by with her nose where her eyes supposed to be. So it's a generational deal. So I have to stop fixing the kid to go fix grandma. Put grandma nose and eyes where it's supposed to be. She look in the mirror, then she look at her daughter and say, girl, you know your nose where your eyes supposed to be? And then she fix her daughter. And then the daughter fixed the son. And then the daddy helped the mama. I mean, so we started programming through Carter's Corner to help the families so that the kids that I'm working with have a better chance of being successful. So that's all we do, man. We just help people.
Nice.
Man, yeah.
Wait,
I like
y'all sitting
no,
there,
I think
y'all sitting there like, all right, that's the show. That's it.
Nah.
no, because it's an amazing story. We always hear about, people coming from a background that people will probably dismiss that person because of where they came from, what they were into, and so on. But you utilize that time. Maybe it's your mom putting you in a sport and so on, but you still had to take that time and dedicate yourself to it, right? Like as a kid, sometimes you don't want to get up and go practice. And the fact that you did that allowed you to still be like, okay, I'm going to instill this in myself. And then you said you looked after your other siblings, and eventually it became a community act and just wanting to help other individuals. So I think this trickle down effect, and then the fact that you brought up breaking cycles, it takes it way beyond your own family. Like you're no longer just trying to figure out how to get your family out of a situation. You're trying to get everybody's family out of this situation. And that's how impactful your work is. I think that's amazing. It's an amazing story to tell.
Well, it's just a part of solving the problem. And for too many of our communities and too many of our folks' lives, people are band-aiding them. They're fixing something about them, but they still ain't fixed the problem.
Right.
So you keep band-aiding somebody, before you know it, they're gonna look like a damn mummy. Right? I mean, so we're not trying to band-aid folks at Carter's Corner. I'm really trying to fix the situation. Like I'm trying to actually help you get out of a situation where you have to borrow $5 for gas, because I'm gonna help you get a job. So what is it that you like to do? Oh, you don't know? Well, let's create you a job. Then you like to do what? What is that you have fun? So I try to get people to recognize everybody has a superpower. Everybody got a superpower. What's your superpower? Tell me what that is, and let's figure out how to put it into work and make it work for you and your family. Because when you're going to work every day for somebody else and you're not getting what you need out of being there other than some money, you're in the wrong place.
Right.
So we're supposed to be a blessing to others. We're supposed to be here to help one another. So if you're just doing a job because you're doing a job, then you're no different than the problem. Right. So what are you going to do to solve the issue for families? Community agencies should be in our communities to help solve the problem. Some of them are making more problems.
Right. But see,
because they're giving out bad information. They getting funding and taking it away from resources from people who really gonna use them in the right way. They're not being positive to the friends and the neighbors that they are around because they're too busy trying to circle their wagons and not wanting to let other people get money. So they try to do underhanded stuff to just continue to get the resources to them that they're not going to use right in the first. I mean, it's just perpetual in our community. So I wanted to put together an agency that was unapologetically going to help people. And I tell parents and I tell teachers and I tell the administrators at the school of these kids, man, y'all trying to keep y'all job. So I ain't trying to change your mind. So you're going to do what you're going to do to keep your job. And mama and daddy, this your kid. So you trying to do stuff that you want to do because this your baby. And you can make the decisions because this your kid. Well, guess what? I'm on the kid side. I'm going to do what's best for the kid. So if y'all mad at me, y'all mad because I'm trying to help the kid?
Yep.
There's something wrong with y'all. So y'all need to be taking some of my classes. Y'all need to come and get some help too, because something wrong with you if you mad at me because I'm trying to help the kid.
But see, your approach though, your approach is something that is amazing, because I know like you are focused on what you're doing now, but I'm just thinking about, from what I know, the amount of people that you were able to touch and lives that you were able to change with that same approach. Like, because we still talk, like all of us who played ball together, who went to school together, we still talk. And when we talk about our time going through high school, one of the bright spots is you. The stories are, you see the similarities in the story in how you you were smart enough to know, all right, with this kid, I need to show tough love. With this kid, I need to take this approach. And you were tactical about your approach. And I think that's one of the things a lot of people overlook with you, because you they want you to be in a box. They want you to be this certain way. They want you to present yourself this certain way. But that's not you. And if you try to present yourself that way, you're not gonna help people. But your realistic approach to life, because you
Dude,
lived a real life.
what
Right.
kept me in the principal office is what's my superpower.
Right.
I
Mm.
don't care if you mad at me.
Right.
I'm gonna do what I want to do because I have
Right.
free will. The Lord gave all of us free will, and I'm
Right.
gonna do what I want to do because I can. Now,
Right.
the problem that most people have with that theory is they do wrong. I'm trying to do right.
Right.
So
Right.
if I'm gonna do what I want to do and I'm gonna do right what I want to do, man, what's wrong with you? You know, I mean, I've always had people try to put me in places because they either wanted me to be politically correct or they were wanting me to be or do it their way. I've always had my own personality. I've had strong women in my life and strong men. I had granddaddies. Like I know my granddad.
Right.
And anybody that know old black men know they stubborn as hell and they do what they want to do and they say what they want to say. So I grew up with a granddaddy who he didn't care if you was Mr. Charlie the white man or the thug down there on the corner. My granddaddy said whatever he wanted to say to whoever he wanted to say it, and he felt it and he meant what he said when he said it. So I grew up under folks like that. My grandmother had 19 children in the hood.
Right.
So she constantly dealt with police and trouble and folks trying to pull her kids and do something to them. And so my grandmother was a very strong black woman in Bond community. I saw my grandmother, who couldn't read or write, get respect from people because she told them what she wanted to. She said it how she felt it. And she was the best woman she could be every day trying to help people. So I was blessed to be in a community of people who did that. So as a kid, I realized that, man, you don't have to just take what people give you.
Right.
Like you can make your own stuff.
Right.
Like you don't have to just take what somebody you don't have to let people tell you what you can and can't do. You can do whatever it is you want to do. So I've always passed that on to kids. I tell kids all the time, success is measured by sacrifice. When you start telling me what you want in life, I'm gonna ask you what you're willing to give up to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I tell kids all the time, don't make better decisions, change your choices. You want a better life? All right, which one you want me to do? Stab you or shoot you? All right, make a decision out of that. Right. Those aren't good choices.
Right.
Those aren't good choices.
Yeah, I don't want either. I don't want
Right.
either.
One of those right. So if you want a better life, man, change your choices.
Right.
And how you change your choices. Be good to people. Go to school. Help others. Be a blessing to others. Be a good person. Be a trustworthy person. I mean, do those things and goodness will follow you because you're going to be in situations where you're always around good people.
Right.
But that's not even you asking for too much. Those are the basics.
No, those aren't the basics. And you want me to tell you why they're not the basics?
Please.
Because some people don't even know the basics.
Mm,
So
very
if you
true.
don't know what the basics are, if what you think is basic and what you believe is basic, that's two totally different things depending on where you come from, who your family is, how you were raised, what
Right.
was put in you at an early age, what school you went to, what side of town you stayed. There's a lot of things that dictate what's normal for people. And in our community, we have normalized foolishness.
Oh, I know. I was just about to ask you about that. How do you do all the work that you're doing in a community that's most likely like saying you're wasting your time? Because it sounds like you're putting a lot of time and effort in all of this work that you're doing. Because I'm pretty sure everybody's not on board.
Well, they don't have to be. That's the best part about it. I tell them the truth. I had a guy one time. They called me and said, "Man, we got somebody who hasn't come pick up his HIV medicine." I said, "What's his name?" They told me who he was. I went and found him because I knew exactly where he was at. I tapped him on his shoulder. I said, "Hey man, what's going on, bro?" He said, "What's up, Mr. Sam?" I said, "Man, when the funeral?" He said, "A funeral?" I said, "Yeah, yours. You won't come get your medicine? I want to know what day it is so I can get your medicine because I love you and I want to make sure I'm at your funeral, dog." And he was like, "Man, why you talking to me like that?" I said, "Dog, you won't take your medicine, so you don't care about living. I just want to know when you gonna be at the church so I can come watch them bury you, man. That's all I'm asking." And by telling people the truth about stuff, like my little brother, when he hurt his leg playing football at Alabama, for Christmas I bought him a whistle. And everybody like, "Why you bought that boy a whistle?" Because he gonna be a damn coach because his leg is hurting and he can't play football no more. Now he might believe he can play football and he might think he can play football, but I'm watching him play football and he can't play football no more.
Right.
That's the truth. Now, whether you want to hear it, I tell people, man, I'm gonna take my kid out of NIM, the school or F school. Last time I checked, they NAM building at NIM's middle school took a test for NAM kids. It's them dumbass kids that's flunking that test. That's who we got to get right. And why are they failing the test? Because somebody's not putting enough emphasis on how important the test is. Yes, we tell them that it's important. We tell them that it's for their grade, but we don't actually show them how it applies to their life as they get older. Why it's important to have these skill sets. We continuously tell kids education is important. Going to school is important. Getting your grades is important. Man, you know how many dumb behind folks I know who are millionaires and how many folks I know that made straight A's that are broke?
Yeah.
So kids are looking like, hold on now. My auntie got 3 master's degrees and she ain't got no job and she ain't got no money. And she always begging my mama for money. My mama ain't go to school, but she do have and on her own shop. And everybody always come around here borrowing money. That's the conflict of what we show and tell.
Right.
So we have to give kids the reality, and we have to do the same with their parents. So when I talk to parents about their kids, and when we do our athletic case management, because we don't just talk and help athletes with recruiting, we do case management. Just like you go to the doctor or the dentist and you have a case file, the athletes that we work with have a case file so that we work with them.
So let me ask this, since you're saying that, explain to, because we've talked about it, but explain to the people why you take the case management approach to athletics, because a lot of people don't get that case management approach. So why do you take that approach when you approaching kids in athletics?
Because the kids are patients. Just like when you go to the mental health doctor, don't they do a case management file on you?
Yep.
When you go to the dentist, they give you a file. Everywhere you go to get help, you get a case file. Why do you think athletes don't need one? Like, then they come from a family, right? We need to know who that is. That's part of the file. Then they come from a situation or a background where they may have faced homelessness or food shortage or food poverty. We need to know that. Did their mama get beat when they was a kid? Did their mama have alcohol syndrome when they was a baby? I mean, my little brother, my mother went through postpartum depression. So there was a while between her connecting with my baby brother. You don't think that affect kids?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right. So don't you think as a coach, I might need to know that in order to help this boy?
Yeah.
Right. So we put together our case folders so that we can better serve the kids that we help. And so I know what I'm dealing with.
Right.
I know what I'm dealing with. I had a kid come up to me one morning and show me some pills and couldn't read the bottle and asked me what it was. I told him antiretroviral medication. And he looked at me and said, "Coach, then my daddy medicine. My daddy got AIDS." The dad never told the kid or the family that he's been sick.
Yeah.
So how do you get through those mental challenges? And then when little Tony found out his daddy got AIDS this morning, you want him to come to your classroom and do what spelling test?
Right.
What math work you want him to do?
Not happening.
Little Tony trying to figure. All right, little Steve ain't ate in 2 days. He ain't told nobody he ain't ate because he don't want nobody to take him from his grandma. Because the last time he was with his auntie, they told him at the school his auntie wasn't feeding him, and the social service folks took him out of that house and put him with his grandma. So you think he finna go tell somebody else he ain't eating?
Right.
Right. They're gonna take him out of his grandma's house, and that way he gonna go. So he just go without eating. And guess what? He gets in a football game, and in the third quarter catches a pass and is running down the field and just falls out. Now we all out on the field trying to figure out what's wrong with this kid. I'm looking at him like, man, what's wrong? And he said, Coach, I ain't ate. And I ain't just telling you something I seen in a movie. This happened in real life. Gene Clark Stadium, one of my kids, who I found out in the middle of a football game, he hadn't ate in 2 days.
Right.
So that's why feeding families is important to me, because I know kids are part of families who haven't had anything to eat. And then we out here asking these boys to play, jump, run, and catch. And there ain't nobody asking him if he ate.
Right.
That makes sense to me. So we need to know this stuff. So our case management program helps us document the needs of our kids so that when we help them with getting recruited, and I talk to college coaches, I can tell them, hey, look at here. This kid is a crack baby. So when he come up there on campus, don't expect him to not act like a damn crack baby at some point in time now.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm being straight up with you now. Oh, I tell people, hey, this kid comes from a community that has nurtured him. He's a big baby. So if you start yelling and screaming at him and tell him he can't catch, he gonna shut down and quit on you.
Right.
See, all of that need to be noted so coaches can do a better job of recruiting. And then I tell coaches, hey, when you come and get this one, he take care of his little sister, his 2 little cousins, his auntie, and his mama and his grandmama. So when you come get him, what y'all gonna replace with him? Because he the family breadwinner. He take care of everybody in his house. You can't take this kid off to school and not replace something, because everybody else that he just left ain't gonna make it.
Right.
These college coaches need to know that stuff. So we collect that information on our kids so that we can better help them be successful and get the resources that they need. And the same kid that I'm talking about, when I told the coaches that he wasn't going to make it if y'all didn't help him with what's going on at home, because he's going to be at school worried about mama, grandmama, and auntie.
Right.
They put some things in place for the kid so he wouldn't have to worry about those type of things. So he could focus on school. And now Chris Jackson in the NFL played at Marshall University.
Wow.
And you know, Pac-Man went up there to Marshall first.
Yeah.
I had another kid that went up there that they told me he couldn't read. He wasn't going to graduate from high school. And this kid got a degree from Marshall University right now, from Woodville, from Nims Middle School. And I was told when he was in the 9th grade, he wasn't going to even graduate from high school. I went and bought him some Sports Illustrated magazine and told him if he wanted to ever be something in life, he better learn how to damn read. And I started paying for magazines that he liked. He ordered Sports Illustrated through Clearinghouse, Public Clearinghouse. I gave him like 4 or 5 magazines to order. And he ordered those so that I can better help him reading. But I wanted him to read stuff he was interested in, and he was interested in sports. And that's how Pac-Man got to Marshall. And when the coaches came to Tallahassee recruiting again, they were talking about Chris Jackson. I told them about the kid at FAMU High, gave them some information, and they signed the kid and helped that kid with doing some things and helped his family with some things because he was going to be going off to school. That's what case management does for you.
Right.
I like that method. It reminds me a lot of, so what Joseph doesn't know is my dad is actually used to be an athletic director and football coach for his old middle school and high school. So growing up, I not only did I hear all those stories, but I also was out in the field practicing with the boys as if I was going to play football with them too. But I appreciate that method, and actually it sounds like a small investment where you paid for these magazines, but look at the reward. The magnitude of the reward is so much bigger than how much money you put into the magazines and the time that you may have put in actually teaching how to read. So I think I only worry about when it comes to coaching, can that word be can the term be defined in that way for everybody? Every coach actually practice these methods of case management and so on. Because it seems like it's such a beneficial process, a beneficial way of coaching.
Well, it is. The problem is we want winning more than we want success. See, I want to be successful. I could care less if we win. I could care less if we win. Now, because we gonna work hard and because I know what the hell I'm doing, we gonna win.
Right.
but that's not my goal. My goal. Look, I had a kid standing next to me and said, "Coach, when I'm going in," I said, "When you clean your damn room, like your mama said." And then I kept on doing my job. And he stood next to me like, "Coach, for real, when I'm going in," I said, "Son, when you clean your room like your mama told you to, then you can play." And I just kept on coaching. Man, this bigger than football, man. This bigger than football. And I've always talked to the kids that I work with. Like Eldon Patterson, when he was getting ready to go off to Central Florida, me and him sitting in the weight room at Rivers, he said, "Coach, man, what you think I need to do when I get to college?" I said, "This is one thing I'm going to tell you that I tell everybody. Go to class every day and you'll get a C." Just show up, man.
Yeah, that's true.
Just show up. Like, be there every day. Let your teachers know that you're committed to learning and you will pass your classes.
I wish I knew that advice.
When he wrote his book, he put in the book that what I told him as one of the things that he's passed on. And how did I get that? I was in Pocatello, Idaho. There was a snowstorm. I didn't know if we had class the next day. I called the school. They said, "No, school hasn't been canceled. Yes, classes are on." I went to a class. I sat in a class. My professor came in. It was just me. I looked around. There's normally 20, 30 kids in this class, but it's just me. This guy came in class, opened his briefcase, taught class, walked past me as his way out, said, "Good day, Mr. Carter," and left. At the end of the semester, I get my grade. I got a C. Now, mind you, I ain't passed now tests. I don't know nothing from this class. I'm just, it was an encryption class. Learning how to encrypt codes and stuff. I don't know. I'm taking the class because I didn't want to take statistics. And when I went to the man and knocked on his door at the end of the semester, I said, "Dr. Lester, man, I just want to thank you, man. You know I needed to pass this class, man. Appreciate you for giving me that C." That man looked me square in my eyes. He said, "Son, I didn't give you anything." He said, "That day you came to class when nobody else showed up, showed me that you wanted to be something in life. That's why you got a C." So I've passed that lesson on to other kids. Like, hey, man, just show up. Shit, I mean,
right.
Just go, man.
So now you got to tell this. You got to get into this because we're talking about, the overall thing is being more than an athlete, and you showing us how you are more than an athlete. But I do want people to understand what you're talking about when you say success is measured by sacrifice. So your time at Troy University when you're getting your master's degree, tell us about the process that you had to go through to be able to maintain your family, but also get your master's at the same time without really earning money.
Dude, I saved up $2,300 to go to the AFCA, American Football Coaches Association, has this annual conference where all of the football coaches from the country, they meet at this conference. There's buzz talks, big coaches, Nick Sabans of the world, and all these folks do buzz sessions and breakout rooms, and you learn how to be a coach from coaches and the college coaches. And everybody gets there and they network as well because jobs are opening at this time of the year and all that. So I saved up. I flew to Anaheim, California. Everybody in my family looking at me like, "Boy, you finna waste all that money just to go out here for a weekend. All that money, you could do this with your family, this, that." And I told them, "Man, I'm going out here to try to find me a job. Right now, I'm sowing my seed." I sold my seed. I got on that plane. I flew to Anaheim, California. Don't know nobody. Don't even know where the hell I'm at. But I'm out here. And I walked around. I passed out resumes. I came home with nothing. and I'm at Ricketts coaching JV football. And, I'm still catching flack from family and all these folks about me spending all this money going out there and didn't get no job and all that. Well, I'm in my class one day and Sean Kelly. Sean Kelly came to my classroom and said, "Coach, man, somebody down at the office looking for you." And because it was Sean Kelly, I ain't listening. Well, I'm still in class, and about 2 periods later, Sweet came to the classroom. He said, "Coach, did you see that guy that was looking for you?" Well, now somebody grown done told me
Yeah.
somebody looking for me. I asked Miss McGrew. I said, "Miss McGrew, will you watch my class? I think there's a coach down there looking for me." I went downstairs, and Coach Wayne Bolt from Troy University was there, and he came on campus recruiting, and he was like, "Man, you still looking for a opportunity?" I was like, "Yeah, Coach." He said, "Well, man, we looking for a minority graduate assistant. Are you interested?" I said, "Yeah." He gave me a call. Said, "Call the head coach." So I called Coach Larry Blakely. I said, "Hey, Coach Wayne Bolt told me to call you. You guys are looking for a GA." He said, "Yeah, you told me you would be calling." He said, "Are you interested?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, you need to be here tomorrow morning at 11." Now, mind you, I'm at work when he told me this.
Yeah.
I went home and started packing my bags.
Mm-hmm.
My wife came home, asked me what I was doing. I said, "I'm finna move to Troy." And she like, "Move to Troy?" I said, "Yeah." And she said, "What you mean?" I said, "They finna give me a coaching job." She said, "A coaching job? You finna be coach?" I said, "Well, it's a graduate assistant." She was like, "Well, how much you pay?" I said, "No, I ain't getting paid." And she was like, "Well, what you going for?" I said, "Man, this is my blessing, not yours. Either you gonna be here when I come back or you ain't. But I'm finna take this opportunity because I'm finna go coach college football. Once again, I'm having faith. I'm sowing my seed, and I'm
Absolutely.
believing. Success is measured by. I'm finna give up my entire life. I'm about to give up my job. I done told my wife she can go and jump in the damn river because I'm finna go. Like I'm all in at this point. I get in my truck and I go to Rickers High School and I sit in the parking lot waiting on the principal to get to work. I went in Miss Inez Henry's office and told her that I appreciate her giving me an opportunity to be a teacher at Rickers, and that if she ever had another job and I was looking for a job, I hope that she wouldn't hold this against me. But Miss Inez, I just got offered a job at Troy University to be a college football coach, and I accepted. And they told me I got to be to work this morning at 11. So I appreciate you, but I got to go. And I walked past Miss Myra King in the front office and told her I already called a sub for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I had already done called a substitute teacher and everything because I knew I wasn't coming to work today.
Right.
So I left and I went to Troy, Alabama, and I coached and I was a GA. I got my master's degree in a year, and I commuted from Tallahassee to Troy, Alabama, 2.5 hours every day for an entire year. I coached college football full time and was in grad school and got my master's in a year. Success is measured by sacrifice. When you tell me what you want in life, I'm gonna ask you what you're willing to give up. I gave up family, I gave up sleep, I gave up money, I gave up a job so that I can go and better myself. And why? I had 2 little brothers that were fantastic athletes, and I wanted to be their agent. So I got my master's in sports management. And by the way, I am the first black person, not black male, the first black person to get a master's degree from Troy University sports management program.
Yes,
So
Congratulations. That's
I
amazing.
gave my all so that I could be successful. And why? Because I wanted to make sure that somebody took care of my 2 little brothers when they made it to a point in life where they needed to be managed. And when nobody's spending Carter money but Carter's. So I didn't want them to have no agent. I didn't want them to have somebody to handle their business. I'm their big brother. I'm the one who took them to get damn haircuts and made sure the boogeyman didn't get them and put $2 under their pillow for the tooth fairy when my mom ain't have no money and made sure they had tickets for the carnival and bought them a snow cone at Walker Ford. That was me. That was me. I did that. So why would I let other people come in our family and collect pieces of their money to manage them when I could do that?
Right.
So that's why I went back to school and got my master's degree. And through getting my master's degree in sports management, I really learned the ins and outs of athletics. So when I started to look at sports in a different way, and that's why we do our program that we have today, Joe, Good Sports. I teach kids about non-traditional sport jobs. So part of Carter's Corner program, when the kids that come in our program work with us, one of the things that we do is that we introduce sport careers to those kids because you can't play forever.
Right.
And somebody got to sell hot dogs. Somebody got to make sure the stadium opens. Somebody got to cut the grass. Somebody got to make sure that the lights work at the stadium. all of those are careers our kids generally don't do because they don't know anybody that do them.
Right.
So I introduce those careers to kids so that they can still stay around in athletics and make some money and have fun doing what they do. Why are we sending kids to Walmart to work that play football since they were 5 years old? Now they're 17 working at Walmart when the state of Florida say you can be a sports official at 16 years old and actually have a patch on your shirt representing the state in a game as a sports official. So why aren't we pushing kids to do that like to do that kind of stuff or want to be, and they're gonna make more money than they're gonna make at Walmart being a football.
So question for you, because this is my first time hearing a program that exposes, the athletes to other careers that you find in athletics.
I know.
Don't do that.
I know that. I know.
But it's probably the first time some of our viewers are hearing this too. So how exactly do you expose them to these careers? Are you bringing people in? You taking them to these places? What are you doing to expose them to those careers?
We work on tacit learning, hands on. I go down to the Park and Rec and we run our own concession stand on Saturdays at the Pop Warner Fields. I call the kids down, and those kids are my chain crew. They help us set the field up. They help us cook on the grill, and the hot dog man make more than the players and the coaches. If y'all listening out there, world, hot dog man selling $10 hot dog he paid 80 cents for. 80 hot dogs come in a box at Sam's. That's $800 he gonna make off $13. Yeah, y'all keep telling your kids to be an engineer.
The funny thing is, I used to work concessions because of my dad during his track meets, and I never understood why he was having me do the concessions. Thank you. Thank you for bringing that realization to light.
So I try to make sure that our kids are happy with their lives. For so long, people have told them to get a job, go to college. Get a job, go to college. Ain't nobody ever explained to them how they can apply what they like to do.
Right. And
go to college and get it. Man, this is a miracle. You could be a doctor that own a concession stand that cut half.
Yeah.
Everything.
Like, why are you letting people box you in? So I try to get kids to recognize that if you like taking pictures, you don't have to have a degree to take pictures. You need to know how to work a camera.
Yeah.
You can take pictures and sell them to Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
You can sell pictures to the newspaper. You like music? Well, guess what? Name me a stadium that don't have a speaker system or play music at the game. DJ Lil Boy, who DJ for T-Pain, you know he play all the music for Florida State basketball and football games.
Yes. I learned that going to one of the games.
He works in sport, and he owns his own trophy company. Me and him talked about that a long time of helping him get started. How many black folks you know sell awards? Right. See, that's a market that our kids don't understand or know about, that every day of the week, somebody having a program where they're giving out a medal or a plaque or award. But yet we don't tap into that market of selling those items. Why? Because our kids don't know nobody that do them. So I take kids to games. We went to a Jacksonville Jaguar game. One of my interns from Florida State is the player personnel director. I asked him to come talk to the kids. One of my interns at Florida State hit all of the SID sports information director type stuff. When we went to Florida State game, I asked her to come talk to the kids. I had another intern who did all of the billboard stuff at the games and the Jumbotron animated and all that stuff. I asked her to come talk to the kids when we went to a game. So I take the kids to places where they can actually see the jobs. And then I try to get people from that career field to come and interact with the kids for just 5-10 minutes, tell them how they got into it. So I introduce these careers to the kids. And then when we have our lunch and learn sessions, I go, because I have a master's degree in sports management, I go into more detail about the career that the kids are interested in. So I first ask the kids, what is it that you want to be? And when they tell me, I apply that to sports in a way that they may have never thought about. If you want to be an engineer, take 10,000 seats out of Doak Campbell Stadium and put 20,000 seats back in, and you'll be a millionaire.
Yeah, you will.
Put 10,000 seats in the same square footage, which means you made an ergonomic seat that a 250-pound man can sit in that took up a half of a space that the old seat took up, but it's a new type of a design. Ain't that engineering?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you work in the Dallas Cowboys is an LLC. It's not a football team, which means they have a business office. They have a manager. They have a paperwork lady. They got somebody handling the bills. They got somebody paying the bill. Like,
Yeah.
so
Then you tell me that the dude who laid the new field for FAMU and Gene Cox Stadium, like he got paid what $2.5 million
to
per
do
project to lay the field.
well, what we talked about was because the original, I just want the world to know, the original plan was to have the field that's at Cox Stadium at Rickards. I tried to get Rickards the first turf field, and the county athletic director at the time said, Sam, these folks will hang me right here if I get that field over there at Rickards. So he kind of dismissed it, and I told him that if we could pay for it ourselves, is it okay? And he was like, well, if y'all pay for it, then have at it. So I found through my brother's connection at Alabama, a company that sell turf. So I reached out to a friend of a friend, knocked on the side door 3 times and asked for Sonny, right? And and got some information and hooked Coach Bell up with the information, thinking and hoping that we were going to get a field at Rickards. But they put the field at Cox Stadium, and the reason they got such a good deal on the field was because this particular company had no turfs to show in Florida, which means they needed a showroom, showcase type of an exhibit in North Florida. So they used Tallahassee Field, which now is hosting state championship games on. Why did they do that? Because they have a field that's more durable, that you can play multiple games in surface area. So through that relationship with Coach Bell and talking with the folks at the company, my brother don't know who the folks are and own the company, they were able to not only get the field at Gene Cox, but AC and Ray Willie Simmons, best friends.
Right.
So reaching out to FAMU and letting them know, hey, this company wants to put a field that's high school related in Tallahassee, but they also want to do a showcase field for a college because they sell college turf, and those are 2 totally different designs.
Right.
Field markings aren't the same. So FAMU was able to get a great deal on getting the turf as well, so that this particular company had some demo fields in Florida to show, so that when they try to sell, they got a closer arena to use to show stuff versus having to drive all the way to where their main fields are in Alabama and stuff like that.
Right.
Hey man, we just making connections, man. I'm trying, like I said, but I tried to get the high field first.
Not right. Nah, that's real. But being more than an athlete, look how many people you touching. Just seeing yourself as more than an athlete.
Well, I mean, man, I'm a community man. I'm a man of this. I call myself a gatekeeper and a stakeholder. I take my community serious because I don't have to be here. Like I can live anywhere I want to. I came back home.
Right.
I mean, I can live anywhere I want to, but I came back home. So I take my community serious because I have family members. I have people that I love that are in this community that I know don't know how to access resources or don't know how to access help. Some people don't even know they need help. Some folks think they perfectly fine. They dumb as hell and crazy as hell, but they think they perfectly fine. So you have to help some people recognize, hey man, that's not right. Or hey man, you might not want to do that, brother. Or hey, no, that's not how to raise kids. Hey, why are you doing that? So we have to do those things. So I came home so I can do that.
Cool.
Absolutely. So this is my question to you. I actually have a double question for you.
Go ahead.
One that's probably going to be the best one to end off with. But the first one would be, can you give us like that hallmark moment? One of your most successful like memories in everything that you're doing. Like what makes you continue to do what you do? What is that number one moment in time? Ooh, he paused for a second.
One moment in time. I mean, I honestly go through all of this stuff with blinders on, just really trying to help. But if I had to pull back a moment in time that I knew my life had changed, was when I got my master's degree.
Mm.
Because you're talking about a kid that couldn't even read, and now I'm walking across a stage with people who are very smart and highly intelligent, and I'm in the
Right.
room. I'm in the room, like when they play the game of take 3 steps forward if your mom went to college, take 2 steps
Mhm.
back with it. When I play that game, I'm up at the front with the white folk that ain't supposed to even know I live or know I exist. I'm up front with people who had two mamas or daddy, had money, school paid for with a credit card or with a checkbook. I'm up there with them folk. I look back at people who I should be standing next to, but because I have
Mm.
a master's degree, I separated myself from a lot of people in my community. And I didn't do it because I wanted to go make some money. I didn't do it so I can rub my nose in people's face and say I'm better than you. I went and got my degree so I can come home and help my brothers and
Absolutely.
help people that I love. So, that's my best moment in my life, I can tell you.
Right.
So then to come off of that, because I think you left it in a good place and you already hit some of the things you're probably going to say right now with this question. What would be your piece of advice that you would give somebody that's in the same spots that you've been in, they're thinking in the same mindset that you're thinking in or have thought in as you traveled the journey that you traveled?
Do what you want to do. Like, do if you believe and you truly want to be or do something, do it. Don't try to do it. Like, don't try, stop trying to do stuff.
Just do
Everybody
it.
always trying to do something. Man, do it. I
Right.
wanted to be a college football coach. I wanted to be a college football coach, and I did it
Mm-hmm.
not because I wanted to. I did it because I knew I could. So I bet on myself. So I
Right.
tell people all the time, man, stop letting people validate who you are. Stop letting people get you all your likes and then you feel important. Like yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like yourself. And if nobody else hit the like button on your post, you push the
Like it.
button yourself. I push my
Right.
button first.
Done that a few times. I ain't gonna
I
lie.
push my button first. I don't let nobody else like mine. I like if I like what I just said. But that was good. Right?
Right.
I like what I just did. That was good right there. Boy, that was good.
Right.
Right? I don't wait for nobody to validate me. Like I don't let
That's
people
real.
Absolutely.
me. I don't. I'm abrasive. I rub people the wrong way. I'm not politically correct. I barely know how to pronounce words right. I can't spell all that. But at the end of the day, man, you can't take nothing from what I done did because I did it.
That's
Right.
it. That
So
and
at
that's
the end of the
that.
day, you can tell me, you can talk about me, tell me my dad ain't nothing. My mama had a nervous breakdown. My grandma pulled from the hood. Your family sell crack and kill people. All right, what's next? Because I got a master's degree.
Right.
And I'm from the same place. All them people you just said. I know that. So I don't let people put me in a box because they can't do something. I don't let people
Mhm.
tell me what I can't do because they can't do something. I don't let people tell me where I can't go and what time to be back. Man, it's 24 hours in a day.
Right.
Everybody saying 24. How you gonna use yours? I
Right.
use mine wisely. By the time you wake up in the morning, I don't went to Atlanta and came back.
Now
Mm.
he not lying either. Like no, he's definitely look. I'd have been on my way to work 8 o'clock in the morning, like 7:50. He called me, Joe, where you at? What you doing? I like, man, I'm on my way to work. All right, I'm gonna be to work. I'll probably be about 15 minutes late. I'm on my way back from Atlanta. I'm about 30 minutes out. And I'm
Wow.
like, what? And then when he get back and he tell you what he's been doing, because he get off at 5 and then go into the community to do his thing, still helping people with his thing. Now, remind you, we spending 8 hours a day because we was at the health department together. We're spending 8 hours a day helping people in the same manners and methods that he used. So I still use those methods to this day. So that's why I approach the community the way I approached it, because I learned it from him and Mr. Leroy. So analyzing what you're doing, not just taking stuff surface level, like really, really thinking. Like with them, critical thinking was important. But
Right.
it's I know a lot of stuff you say people don't believe, but to witness it, like for real, like I'm on my way back from Atlanta. It ain't even 8 o'clock in the morning. I just did this, this, and this, and this, and we've got to go work 8 hours and go help some people. So, are you ready?
Man, I mean, it's just one of those things, man. Use your time wisely. Everybody gets the same 24 hours. You don't. All right, they say you got to sleep at least 8 hours a day, but why you got to do that at night?
Right.
Like you ain't got to sleep at night. You can sleep in the middle of the day and get your 8 hours a
I'm
day.
learning that now. I'm definitely learning that now.
You know, I mean, dude, you have to be wise about. Sometimes you can't eat. It tells you that you can't live on bread alone. The Lord didn't say you were going to eat every day. He
Right.
said, trust and believe in him and don't worry about nothing because I will take care of you. But that don't mean you got to eat every day. That don't mean you got to go to sleep every day. If you got stuff to do, what you sleeping for? And if you sleeping, what you doing stuff for? Go to sleep.
Right.
I don't let people tell me when I can and can't go to sleep. Just because I'm at your job, if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I get sleep, I'm going home. I'm going home. Now you either
I believe
find me or don't pay me. Don't pay me for the next 3 hours or make me sign out and use sick leave, whatever. But I'm gonna go home because I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
So I don't let people put me in situations where I have to do stuff because they said it. You don't know what's best for me more than I know what's best for me.
Right.
So when it's not a good time for me to be working, why would you want me to work? I'm not going to give you my best.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
If I'm ready to go and I got stuff on my mind and I want to get it done, why are you telling me to whoa? So if
That's
I want to
real.
go do 2 o'clock in the morning outreach and pass out condoms, because I know folks out here having unprotected sex between 2 in the morning and 7 in the morning, why are you telling me I can't do that? Because I work at the Department of Health and
Hey,
I'm supposed to be just doing this between 8 and 5? Boy,
look,
people having sex after 5 o'clock and before 8. So
look, look. What look, that outreach initiative, we called it Into the Night, where
yeah,
we would literally get up about 10 or 11, between 10 and 12. We would meet up because we're literally going to go walk the worst streets you could think of in Tallahassee. We're walking these streets between 12 and 4 in the morning. And one night, I knew what we was doing was great. It was unconventional, but I knew what we was doing was great and something impactful. We're walking down the street and we come up on this guy. He like, man, what y'all doing out here this time of night? Y'all know these goons be out here? We like, man, we ain't worried about it. We from the neighborhood. We ain't worried about it. So what y'all doing? We passing out condoms, making sure people got what they need. Dude was so excited. He pulled his gun out like, yeah, anybody mess with y'all, they gonna get it because I'm gonna protect y'all. Anybody, and it's like seeing that. It sounds crazy, but that's him in his way showing love and gratitude. Like nothing has ever happened to us because the community was grateful of the services that we were providing. So they protected us.
and I mean, and that's the stuff that we have to realize. We go to faith walking, we go to church walking, and we go out here, but we don't practice this stuff. I truly believe I'm going to be taken care of. I don't worry about the tough places that I have to go in. I don't worry about the families that people tell me not going to be responsive. I don't worry about them telling me what kid ain't going to listen. I don't let people tell me none of that stuff. Just because that kid don't listen to you don't mean he ain't going to listen to me.
Right.
Just because this family didn't accept your help don't mean they won't accept mine. So I don't let people box me in for what I can do through my agency. And I know that being an athlete and having that gladiator mentality is what helps me thrive in the social service world because I hear no a lot. In this world, we hear no a lot. People tell you no all the time. And I just told the city commissioner earlier today, he's like, Carter, you ain't called me all the time. I said, well, Carl, y'all gonna do is say no. So I just go to the park and have an event anyway. I don't care if y'all say yeah or no. This my park. I ain't gotta ask y'all anyway. This is my neighborhood. Why do I have to ask you, can I use a park in my neighborhood? Boy spot. I ain't calling y'all no more for nothing. You know, so that mentality, but I'm the same guy in the huddle. Coach, give me the ball. Coach, we losing by 1 point. I'll score the touchdown for us. Coach, kick it to me, right? I mean, that's always been my attitude as an athlete. So I've transferred that same, I'm going to win, I want the ball coach attitude to life. And by doing that, I try to make sure that the kids that are around me and the families that I work with feed off of that energy. And they don't think of themselves as being poor, or they don't
Right.
think of themselves as not having. Because as long as I'm with you, you know the answer. Because hell, I'll give it to you. As long as I'm with you, if you hungry, hell, I'll give you something to eat. As long as I'm around you, you ain't nobody gonna bother you because I'm gonna help you fight, right? That's the attitude that I have when I work with our community, because I truly believe in what I'm doing. I love the people that I help and my people that I'm working with, and I truly know that there's a kid just like me out there just waiting on somebody to believe in them, waiting on somebody to give them just one good nod and say, you're gonna be all right, and help them with that. And that's why I do everything that I do every day, because I just know that what we're doing is being impactful, not because we're being an impact, but because I know that helping people works.
Right. Right. Right.
I know it
Well, you
works.
know what? You all right with me.
Right.
I know that helping people works. I know that the formula that we have for being a blessing, just being open-handed, being truthful with each other, being honest to one another, love each other, doing all of those things are always good.
Right. Right.
Always gonna be good. So if everybody just continues to do that, then we're gonna be a better community, and we'll have a bunch of better places to be and hang out and go, and we are gonna have better children because they're gonna have better
Right.
choice. They're gonna have better.
Right.
That's it. I mean, so anything I can do to help folks, that's what we do. And I use my athletic abilities to get me where I'm at. And now I use my athletic mindset to channel the things that I do. And, you know, just being the gladiator that I am, I ain't scared of nothing. And I'm going to try anything because I want to win. And
Right.
winning is not important, but it's the most important, right? And,
Right.
and when we say winning is the most important, because nobody wants to put effort into doing something and accomplishing a goal and then not, right?
Yep.
Right.
And I tell people all the time, if you come in 8th place at the Olympics, you came in dead last. But boy, you the 8th fastest person in the damn world.
That's real. That's
That's
real.
another way to think. What's
I
the
mean,
the glass half full, half empty?
dude, you just came in 8th place. Yeah, you came in last. But man, you the 8th fastest person in the world.
Beat me.
Not many people can say that.
So, dude, let's live off the positive. Stop always
Mm.
thinking about what's wrong. Everybody always want to tell our kids what's wrong with them. That's why whenever I do stuff like I did today, I tell people who I am before you get start telling me who I am. Because people always want to tell you, you ain't nothing, you ain't got but one parent, you're a latchkey kid, you went to Rickers, you grew up in Bond, you grew up on Holton Street. See, everybody always want to point out all that stuff. So I ain't gonna let them. I just tell you that before I do. I'll tell you first. So then you know what you're gonna do. I'm gonna just do like Eminem did, you know, all the bad stuff about me, and then you can't talk about it, right?
Right.
I ain't gonna let you talk about me. I'm gonna talk about myself.
Right.
So, you know, that's the thing that I try to give kids, that confidence. Don't let people tell you because you don't fit their box, you're not gonna be successful, or you can't have in life, or you don't know better. That's not the truth. And that's just something that it just drives me crazy that people continuously try to channel our kids to a direction of not being positive or not being good because they think what's best when they don't even know what's best for themselves.
Right.
So
Right. Right. That's real. That's real. So, man, you just pulled the Mansa Musa and just drop jewels just as you go, just dropping
always
jewels,
on the
right?
way.
Right. So, man, you just gave a lot of great information. So if somebody's seeing this and they like, I want that dude to help my son. How do people get in contact with you?
Stand on the corner of 2502 Holden Street at Don Grocery Store and wait for me to pass by you about 5 times tomorrow.
That's real.
Because I'm going to be in the hood tomorrow at some point in time. So just wait on it, bro. You can go to carterscorner.org. My email address is carterscorner@me.com. And, I'm not a stranger to anybody. I'm on Facebook. I mean, all of the things. And like I said, I mean, I ain't hard to find. If you're someone from Tallahassee and you're a mover and a shaker, I promise you, if you just ask enough people, Sam Carter, somebody gonna point you in the right direction. And I promise you, if you go stand on the corner of 25
I ain't lying.
at Dawn Grocery Store, I am gonna pass by you at some point in time tomorrow. I go in the neighborhood. Like I was, man, about 4:00 this morning. I was riding around over in the neighborhood, passing out blankets over in the over at the park and right there on Meridian, right there across from the King store, and over there off of Saxon Street, over at the over there on Lake Bradford, right there where the little holding pond at, where they be I passed out 3 boxes of blankets this morning. It's cold out there, and I'm probably going. It's 9 now, probably because they still getting liquored up and trying to warm themselves up right now, so they ain't going nowhere to sleep. So around 1-2 o'clock in the morning, I might jump up and go pass out another box or 2 because I know it's going to be cold tonight. But that's the stuff that we have to do in order to help our community. And that's the stuff that, just trying to help and figure out a way to bless folks' lives, man, because folks out there hurting and they're in need. And if you could do something, just do something.
There you go.
Absolutely. Well, look, we appreciate you coming here today and dropping all these jewels and all this knowledge and wisdom that we can never erase from our minds at this point. I know that you have fed not only us, but you have fed every person that is going to view this session and has been viewing with us. So I appreciate you being here, Mr. Carter. When I come back to Tallahassee, I'm going to have to look you up.
Come on.
And figure out how we can connect and I can help out with some of your initiatives. I like to get down and dirty too. So I'll walk the streets. I don't know about all the streets. But
hey, you good.
Hey, fasten
look, they don't recognize me from y'all area. So
all I can do is tell you fasten your seatbelt. Just fasten your
yeah.
But I definitely appreciate it.
Yes, man. Definitely appreciate everything you do in the community, everything you've done, especially the impact you've made in my life. Because like I say, I still believe I wouldn't be where I am if you hadn't kept your promise, because was at AB house and I was asking you about a job and you was like, right now I don't, but I check back with you. 6 months later, I forgot we had that conversation. 6 months later, you came back and was like, hey, you want a job? And I'm like, yeah, I'm throwing newspapers. Yeah. And you kept your promise. Nobody has ever done that like that. And so I'm always grateful for you because you helped me be able to set a foundation to change my life around and do something more. So now I'm able to give back to the community. So I do appreciate everything you've ever done.
Hey, man, the thanks is all on you because it's very rare that you give somebody an opportunity and they take it by the horn and actually use that opportunity to turn it into what you have, writing books now, running your own programs, and charge outreach for major not-for-profits and community agencies and healthcare centers and the state of Florida. I mean, dude, you've taken an opportunity of an OPS guy and have turned it into your life, and you've been blessing folks through an opportunity. So that's all I asked of you was to do your best when you got an opportunity. So, I mean, man, I appreciate you for what you're doing.
I appreciate that.
That's awesome, dude.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close this thing out. Sam, we appreciate you for being here and everything you're saying. She is the flyest scientist ever in the history of mankind, Dr. LaTasia Jones. Walking Black history. Hold up. We got to flex. Tell them, flex on them real quick. Tell them your Black history real quick before we close out.
So if anybody doesn't know already, because Joseph makes sure that everybody knows.
Yes.
I am the first African-American to graduate from the Department of Biomedical Sciences at Florida State University with my doctorate. So yes, that is my piece of history that I hope somebody carries on.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right. You know, they say your network determines your net worth.
Yeah. And where are you at now?
I'm in the DC area, actually.
Okay.
So I was working at Children's National Hospital. Now I work at the American Society for Microbiology. So.
Hey, Doc, I done been to the Y and all that up there. Hey, Doc, I'm that dude. Whenever I go somewhere, if you want to find me, come to the trap or to the hood. I'm somewhere around here. I don't like hanging out around bougie smart people. You know what I'm saying?
Look, stop it. First of all, we can't talk about all this on air. Let me be quiet.
Hey man.
Hey Doc, when I touch down, I'm getting off the jet and going to the jets.
There you go. Hey man. We'll see y'all on the other side. She's Dr. Latasia Jones.
Hey man, love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all.
Keep Sam Carter.
Man.
Bye.
Peace out.
Peace out.